Okay, hello everyone. It's been a while since I made any videos on YouTube. As many of you know, I posted on X that a few months back I was diagnosed with rare and aggressive stage 4 cancer that started with some lymph nodes in my upper chest, and then cancer spread to both of my lungs, my liver, and my left pelvic bone. Needless to say, the news was extremely difficult to digest and wrap my head around it. Obviously, my world was flipped upside down with that news. I am an athletic 45-year-old. I ran my first marathon back last year in October 2024. And I was training for 2 more marathons this year. One was in June. People live in Minnesota have heard of Grandma's Marathon, so I was signed up to run that one. Unfortunately, I didn't because of my cancer diagnosis on April 2nd, and I was also signed up to run the Medtronic again in October of 2025. I ran 10 miles the week before I had symptoms that something was wrong, and I ended up in the ER. And that's how we discovered that I have late stage cancer. I am working with the best medical team in the country, Mayo Clinic, and I was put on chemo treatment the day after my diagnosis on I was diagnosed April 3rd. I was put on chemo treatment April 4th, right away, because of the aggressiveness of the cancer that I had. Thankfully, and to the prayers of everybody that I know, family, friends, and many of you, the cancer is reacting positively to the treatment, and it has shrunk a good amount across my primary, that's in my chest, my lungs, and my liver, which is good news. However, there's no cure at the moment for what I have. It took me a while to really mentally overcome what that means. And I struggled for a couple months, but I am in a much, much better place right now, mentally. I take it day by day, spend as much time with my kids, my family, my brothers. They're pretty close. I have friends and family helping as well. So I'm in a much better place, and I wanted to give you guys just a quick update on where we stand. I will beat this. I am 100% confident that I will. I have the mindset, the will, and the strength to do it. I'm on my 5th round of chemo with an aggressive chemo treatment, and my body is handling it really well. And I attribute that to the shape I was in before my diagnosis. As I said, marathon runner, very active, healthy, lean, fit, so on and so forth. So I'm lucky from that regard, and young as well. I'm lucky from that regard. So I know I took the first 5 minutes to give this update, but it was difficult to get back to doing YouTube videos after all of that and the health journey that's ahead of me. But I want to get back to doing what I like, and that's why I'm doing this one. But I thought giving you an update and not just jump in right away as if my life is still the same as a few months back, because it's not, would be potentially helpful before we jump in. So with that out of the way, and again, I thank a lot of you that left comments, and friends of you that been praying for me as well. God is listening. Positive treatment, even though it's not a cure, and there's not a cure at the moment. I am grateful for every day I have, and for all the prayers from many of you, because God is listening. So with that out of the way, I wanted to do a couple things today. I wanted to go through some recent trades that I did: BE, AMD, ALAB. There's a lot to learn on those 3 trades. They are tweaking the rules a little bit. There's a reason when I do that. So I'll go through that here in a second. And then I'm going to also cover NBIS trade I did on Friday that stopped me out. There's a couple comments on X, kind of a little bit confused as what the setup was, and so on and so forth. So I'll add that at the very end. Hopefully this video won't go too long. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So I titled it "Position Yourself to Get Lucky," and when we're going through the trades, you kind of understand the subject or the title, and why I titled it that way. But before we jump in, just a reminder, this is educational purpose only. I'm not advocating for you guys to buy any of these securities. Do your own due diligence before trading or investing in any securities that we mentioned today. So let's jump into what I'm gonna do is start with MarketSmith, and let me do that here. All right. I want to start with BE, not ALAB, and just talk a little bit about what was I seeing and the stock and stuff like that. But before we do that, all of these 3 stocks, BE, ALAB, and AMD, are all AI related stocks. Unless you've been living under a rock, we're going a revolution right now, and that is the AI ML revolution. You guys know that I've been in IT for many years, 19 years, I think, right now. And I have not seen anything come with the potential that AI has going forward. So the bull market that we're in right now is an AI ML bull market. ML is for machine learning. You gotta focus on that theme, and you gotta focus on and try to position in stocks that are related to that thesis, to that theme. And BE, ALAB, and AMD are in the build-out industries of this transformational technology. And that's where we are right now. We need to build out energy, electricity. We need to build out data centers. We need to build out GPUs to be able to do the computational processing for these models and for these AI agents and so on and so forth. And these 3 stocks are in the heart of that phase, of that build-out phase. So, and among many stocks, obviously, but we're talking about these 3 today. So BE is in the energy sector, and I traded BE previously here, right before the gap down on DeepSeek. I was in it from here. I actually bought the stock right here, and then got stuck with this gap down. I was up really good amount and pretty heavy on this stock. with the tariff war, this kind of pulled back like many other stocks and started to do what? Started to round out, right? Round out. This is your left side. And now it's building the right side of the base. And this is a decline 50. I'm not interested in this side. So there's no trading here. When I start rounding this side is when I'm getting interested. And then this, I had this drawn here, but when it reclaimed this is when I really started looking for an entry. Yes, there's a lot of supply on this side here. But like I said, I'm bending the rules here because I want to be in AI, ML, build out phase stocks. So I want to find an entry, low risk entry is always the goal. Obviously, this has the numbers with earnings, and so that's supportive as well. It's not, like a lot of the nuclear stocks with no sales and no earnings. So this is already profitable and have a double-digit earning profits going forward. Let me flip to, because it's a lot easier. I do a lot of my technical analysis on TradingView. My MarketSurge is for research. So let me switch to TradingView and then do BE. All right, so let's, I cleared the chart because I want to start with you guys to see what I was looking at. So this was the area that I was looking at, okay? And again, we're not interested in this side until I start rounding and I'm looking for something here. You see how you've got a lot of the red. So this is your distribution, right? Distribution. So I'm not interested in trading here. I'm interested in when I start seeing pocket pivots, blue and green, and overpowering the red, right? This one red here, barely. This is another red here. So we'll talk about this here in a second. And you see unbalanced volume goes from selling to blue, which is buy-in pressure, okay? This is up-down ratio. The colors are up-down ratio. I made a video about my OBV and then how I incorporated up-down value into my OBV. Okay, so this shows the selling pressure according to your up-down volume. I bought the stock right here. So let me put a tick. Like do that. I bought the stock coming after this day, right here on this day. The way I was thinking about this is up, pullback, and then up. If you watch a lot of my pullback buys, up, pullback, up, and I want to buy it here. So up, pullback, up, and then bought it there. Okay. If you go back in time and take a look at this day right here, this is how that was looking. And if you notice this contraction in bars, this day right here is dry up in volume. That's what this is, dry up in volume. OBV, you have OBV high before price, indicating accumulation. Right? A lot of pocket pivots, accumulation. And then I can control my risk around this. This is the 21 EMA, successful test, as I can see it. So above this high is my entry. So if we move on one bar, above the high was my entry. So let's put a tick here. Above the high was the entry. Okay, up, pullback, resumption of the trend. That's a pullback buy inside of your base. Okay, inside of your base. This is your base. Okay, potential cup, depending on how it falls. That's live view of how it was looking. Right. So let's exit out of this, and then Position yourself to get lucky is the title. So the industry now is focused on AI/ML. A lot of your analysts are going to be focused on what? AI/ML stocks. So, but this gap here was the analyst upgrade. This gap here was, I believe, the bill that passed in the Senate and has a lot of stuff in it for energy built out and stuff like that. I believe, I didn't read it, but that was the news. That's when you are in hot theme revolution industries, you position yourself to get lucky in these stocks in the form of upgrades, bills, laws, government investments, government contract investments, stuff like that. This was the bill. So I was in this and I was up right away from here to here, 12%. Actually before, because I added to my position on this day here, right here. So what happened, I got in and then next day it's fine, tested that pivot and then bounced. And then you have this day here, which is really wide range. But look at the volume. There's really no selling on this piece right here, no selling. Obviously I didn't like it because I'm back a little bit underwater. And then next day, pretty much almost inside day. I don't think that's inside. No, it's not inside day, but almost inside day, sitting right at this support, right? Previous resistance becomes support. And then on a pocket pivot. So I added to my position above this high. Closed okay. I'm back in the green on the position, and then we have a gap up. I didn't sell anything here. I was up on both of these around 10%. But again, I want to try to position and play this for a longer period. I think we're in a bull market right now after the tariffs are out of the way, tariff wars out of the way, and the AI/ML theme. If this was a random stock, this is not a stock that I would trade. A little bit, there's a lot of supply here, but this has that driver behind it that makes me bend the rules a little bit. Random stock, I wouldn't be doing this on a random stock. Added to my position, pulled all the way back. I'm back to a run break even. That's fine. I've already committed. If I didn't sell anything here, I'm not going to sell it here. I'm going to let it stop me out. And my stop loss down here. Okay. So I let it be. Next day, looks really good. Looks good. Tight. Upgrade. Analyst upgrade. I sold 25% of my position at, where would I sell that? At the gap test. So right here, around 27-ish, right here. So 25% of my position was sold there, and I still have the rest. I would like to rebuild this. This is still building the base. So what I think this is happening now is a cup with handle. Let me draw that quick. Cup. And then this is the handle right here. So I want to see this round up and then give me some type of entry over in this area. If this keeps doing this, that's not what I want to see. I'll potentially most likely exit. I already have my stop at break even somewhere here. I don't want to see this going all the way down here. Okay. This would not be what I expect to see. I expect this to hold in this area. I didn't even look at the news, honestly, and it doesn't matter. I don't know why this gapped down that much on that day. If anybody knows, listen to this, put it in the comments. But it doesn't matter. If you look at the weekly, so this high volume here, right? If you look at the weekly, we closed, all right, okay, shooting star on the weekly, but that's expected. We've tested the high of that base. So, there's a lot of supply here, like I said. So this is not expected, but not what I wanted to see. Okay, so we'll see how this unfolds in the next few days, and then I'll keep you guys updated on X. Let's go to AMD. So you put yourself in a position to get lucky. You got a gap here for the bell. You got a gap here for NS upgrade, and this only happens because this is an AI ML related stock in the build out phase in the energy space. All right, let's take a look at AMD and then go from there. Obviously, AMD. I drew these and I posted about it, so let me take these out. Let's take a look at AMD quickly on TradingView on MarketSurge. AMD. Just again, earnings. I want to point that stuff quickly here. RS line trending up, outperforming the market. It is a lower RS line. That's where I'm bending the rules. Declining 200. That's why I'm bending the rules, because this is a special build out phase AIML stock in the processing GPU space. If we go to the weekly, you got the sales, earnings, so on and so forth. So has all of that going for it. On Twitter, on X, not Twitter anymore. I want to just walk you guys through how I found the stock, because this did not come up on my scans with this decline in 200 MA. And on IBD Investors, on IBD Live, David Ryan was talking about this stock and a few others as well. And I posted about it here. I said, hey, I'm watching this one. Institutions loading up, a lot of pocket pivots, lots, big volume. And then you've got your up down volume, 2.14. It's really high. And so I'm watching it, right? And this was buyable here. If it comes out the next day after I posted, what buyable. But what happened is that this actually went the other way around. So it never triggered. And I posted about it, taking out stops below recent lows from last week. Very low volume pullback so far. If you notice, all of this happening on very low volume, I'm still interested. And now I'm even more interested because now we have a shakeout, right? So we have a shakeout of the lows here. And I'm waiting for it to see what it's going to do. So in my head, this is up, pullback, up. And I want to buy it rounding up and turning back up. And then the next day, I posted about it. AMD doing everything right so far, challenging yesterday's high at the moment. So challenging yesterday's high, and I actually bought it that day when it took out the high. So picked up some AMD today. If my thesis is wrong, recent pullback low. Keep it simple. Taking that high. So let's go to TradingView and then see how did we do that. I'm gonna just delete that. So I'm not gonna go through that again, but obviously the uptrend, then pulling back to the 20 EMA, very low volume right here, volume drying up. Okay, and then when you buy it taking this high, you're risking 3%. Okay, risking 3%, you are already up 7%. I haven't sold anything, close to 7%. So I bought it turning back up on this day. Let me change that color to blue. Blue is my buy color. Let's delete this piece. And then I also added, because if you guys remember, I had this line drawn right here. So let's draw that. I added on this day as well, because that was the pivot that I'm interested in. So I added right here. Left my stop the way it is, 3% stop. This from here all the way down is is 5%, which is very acceptable and below the 21 EMA. But I bought some here, some here. My average now is around this place area. So my stop ultimately really is going to be about 3.7%. Okay, still have the entire position. I have not sold anything. This gap up here, again, position yourself to get lucky. This gap up here is an upgrade. This gap up right here is an upgrade on the stock. And what's the upgrade? Because of GPU and the GPUs that AMD has that has potential to power and drive AI/ML for the future. So I think this is declining 200 MA. We're just now, the 50 is coming on top of it. If you look at my feed, 99% of the trades I do, probably 100%, except AMD is an exception. 50 is above the 200. The 200 is an uptrend. That's where bending the rules on this one. But there's a lot to make up for that break in that rule, right? Tons of volume, lots of buying pressure, earnings, sales, potential something new for the company, GPUs that's going to power AI/ML, hot, revolutionizing industry and times that we're living in. So that's when I bend the rules a little bit. And then you're positioning yourself to get lucky with upgrades and so on and so forth. So that's AMD trade. Let's do ALAB. Let's go back to TradingView and do ALAB. Sorry, MarketSurge. ALAB, obviously, let's go to the weekly. I've traded it here. It's on my channel somewhere. And this was the hot stock, hot IPO in this run up. This is an IPO. We are in a hot IPO market right now, especially if it's related to AI/ML or crypto. This weekly chart, so we'll touch on that here in a second. But this is kind of reclaiming all of this and then consolidating. This went from 45 to 100. So this is a double potential high tide flag and consolidating. When you're doing this for a while, I've been doing this since 2006. When you're doing this for a while, this looks bullish. You just know that this looks bullish. You don't have to spend a lot of time in understanding and realizing that this looks bullish. Let me go to the daily quickly because, well, let's just touch on again massive earnings and then massive triple-digit sales, massive triple-digit earning per share growth, and these are estimates. Okay, don't put a lot of estimates on the quarterly. A lot of weight. I look at the yearly estimates here. 65% increase, 27% increase, double-digit yearly earning per share growth, potential growth in the AI/ML space, right? So let me take a look at the daily quick, because a lot of the questions that came in is on ALAB is the volume, the red bar volume right here. So, and a lot of folks are like, well, how do you buy? This is just too much selling, right? Let me go back to the weekly on MarketSurge and show you how that's not selling. So if you look at MarketSurge right here, where's the selling? Okay, this bar right here. This bar is a supportive action, testing the 10-week MA. Hard to see on here, so let's go to TradingView. Okay, let's go to the weekly. Where's the selling? That's why I have my volume indicator. Okay, no red on the weekly. Does that mean when this bar is not red? That means the candle. I'm going to zoom in here on the candle. Yes, it's a down candle, but it closed in the upper range of that candle. So that's supportive action. We simply tested the 10-week MA, and institutions came and bought the stock on the 10-week MA. They came again and bought the stock on the 10-week MA right here. They came again and bought the stock on the 10-week MA right here. If you notice the closes on this chart, so let me show you something. Put a line on these closes. Close, close. Oops, that. You can draw a line. Close, 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 right? So it's closing at the same price week after week after week after week after week. That's accumulation. Yes, the daily looks messy. Okay, we'll go through the daily here in a second. Doesn't look as messy as you might think. But if you're wondering, is this volume bearish or bullish, just flip to the weekly, because the weekly trumps the daily. And then that's your answer. Okay, so that's a golden nugget right there. And then what is this? This is just simply build in a flat base. Okay, this is simply build in a bullish flat base after the stock went up over 100%. Extremely bullish. Now, that doesn't mean it is going to work. I think this stock is gonna be 160. Okay, but it doesn't matter what I think. This stock can just simply fail. Just never, you never know what happened, but what happens. And maybe it goes down, test this gap, or maybe it goes back down all the way, test the low. I don't know, but this looks bullish, and I'm gonna play it with tight risk. That's all. That's all you can do, is put your bet on low risk setups when you find them. So where was the low risk setup on this? So now you guys know why I was interested in it. It's not bearish. This volume is not bad. They bought the stock. So let's take a look at what I was looking at when I was watching the stock and why I decided to trade it. So this is your support, and then shook out, and then reclaim, right? This is your support, shook out, and then what happens on the weekly? Institutions came, bought the stock, pushed it back up, came back, tested it again, and they came and they bought it again. We just went on that, on the weekly chart. I bought the stock right here. Why? Because that's your low risk entry right here, right here, this candle. This candle right here is your low risk entry. So you shook out, reclaim, shook out again, the support. And where did you stand? Let's do that again. This is advanced trading, okay? Try out in volume. Where is this candle? Low range candle. What happened before on this level? Support, 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 support. Broke it hard, bought it, came back, broke it, bought it. This was viable right here. Well, this looks bad on the weekly because it haven't been bought yet. Let's just advance. I'm not going to confuse you guys a little bit, but let's just focus on this, okay? And then you see how wide range, even this one, wide range, and then all of a sudden you start having doji, okay? Meaning no more wide range bars. And then you have this smaller bar here, probably the smallest bar in this area, And this is where you can control risk, sitting right at that support level, and then sitting right at the 10 EMA. This stair stepping is your 10 EMA, okay? And this is where you buy it above the high. And that's exactly what I did. Above the high right here the next day, okay? So that's my entry, it's my stop limit placed the night before in the morning for the market opens, or if you want to watch it and place it after the market open if you have time and you're not working, then you can do that. Dry up in volume is what got me interested. Okay. If we're still having heavy volume here, if we're still having all of this volume right here, I probably would have not put my order in. Dry up in volume means supply has stopped coming to market. Okay. So I got it here. And then this was an awesome setup that I wanted to add to my position right here. So this is the second pivot that I wanted to add above this high. And then we gapped up, right? Put yourself in a position to get lucky. We gapped up. I don't remember why we gapped up. I don't know if there was news on ALAB upgrade or something. I didn't check, honestly. But I did not buy it. So I was not in it. So we gapped up the next day. We pulled back actually a little bit, but I didn't buy any. And then I missed it. Okay, so I'm still in that position. I think it's already 12% position, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is constructive, low volume, even though there was quite a bit of selling on Friday. This is the highest weekly close. If we go back to the weekly, this is the highest weekly close the stock had in this range. So that's a positive development. If I switch to close only, the highest weekly close for that stock in this consolidation. So I'm rooting for the stock. Obviously, I'm in it, but this would be really nice if it takes the high on Monday. Maybe I'll add to it. I don't know. I think this volume right here, just a little bit. There's still some volume here, but this sitting right at. See that? Okay. So good spot, but we'll see. I was under pressure a little bit on Friday. So I think I'm just gonna slow down and be very picky Monday on where I want to add and stuff like that. This is taking way longer than I thought. Okay, let's go quickly to NBIS and take a look at what I did on Friday and then why I bought this. All right. Disregard all this data here because this is a new IPO. I think TradingView shows it, MarketSurge shows it better. So NBIS, this is an IPO. So the trading started here. TradingView shows all data from a different company. Long story. I gotta get this video done. But this is also an AI related stock, AI builders. I think the comment that I got, because this is a pullback buy, this is pulling back to the, this is the base, the cup, deep cup. This is more than 100%. This is a power play to start with. This is a power play to start with. Okay, so let me go over here, and this. So again, this is an IPO. To forget about declining the 200 MA because the TradingView doesn't have the right data. So this is an IPO that just put a 200% rally after the tariff war and then pulled back. So let me go back and take that date, just what I was looking at, okay? And pulled back because I think the comments on X was, isn't this a broken stock? Why did you buy it? Okay, pulled back 19%, which is high tide flag. The max that will pull back is 20%, and then it went up way more than 100%. So this is extremely bullish. You look at the weekly. This is your high tide flag. This is your 200% run. This is your week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Attempted to break out, got pulled back. Okay. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I was looking at it, it was sitting right over here at support. This is with Friday data. So without Friday data, it was sitting at support right here. Let me draw that. Okay, sitting at support with doji candle. If you guys know candlesticks, doji, it's undecisive. Selling, not wide range bar. This looks like a normal ordinary sell-in for me for whatever reason. Volume drying up well below the average. I don't know how you would say this is broken. This is simply the flag after 200% run, and you can't expect the stock to just keep running. So this is your consolidation. This is your flag after 100% rise in the stock. Well, 200, right? So this is your flag. Okay. So this is a stock that can move high percentages. I'm buying it above the high and then stop 5%, close to 5%. I got stopped out. I mean, this is what happened. This is what happened on Friday. Okay. I got another comment says, well, you're buying it into the 21 EMA right here, right? So yeah, I ticked the high pretty much. And well, why are you buying it with 21 EMA above it? Well, I don't buy the stocks drop into the 21 EMA blindly. I don't buy them that way. I don't buy them touching the 21 EMA. So I don't care if they're touching the 21 EMA trying to turn back up. You know how many stocks turn back up and the 21 EMA is above them? That doesn't mean anything to me. What means a lot to me is the volume pattern, how it's pulling back. If I'm gonna wait until the stock is above that 21 EMA, I'm giving it a lot of leeway, and it might be like way up here. So like if I'm not buying and falling to the 21 EMA, which I don't do, they have to round up if you see me how I trade. I'm not gonna not buy them if they are touching the 21 EMA from the bottom going back up. This just doesn't mean anything to me. This is just testing the 10-week MA. Every strong stock that ever in history that pulls back to the 10 EMA for the first time is going to have the 21 EMA above it. This is a 10-week MA. Okay? This is just testing the 10-week MA. 21 EMA is going to be above it, so it means nothing to me. Just kind of clarifying that. Okay? But most of the stocks I buy, they're already above the 21 EMA. But this is a high tide flag, and I want to take a shot at it on this day, and it didn't work, and I'm out. And that's just normal. Nothing there. So, anyway, I hope that helps. 3 minutes, really long video. Hopefully you know, some of you found something useful in it. And yeah, I thank you guys, and I'll catch you later.